Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the garage. And this is an update on, well, one of the first brands. And I've been covering this since November, since it really broke into the news that the company was having a little bit of a financial problem. I'm sorry, a complete collapse. I have a whole video series right here. Now, and I've done multiple videos on this so far, and it's a disaster for home mechanics, hobbyists, professionals, and even the car manufacturers like Ford and General Motors. The one thing that has absolutely been flooring me since I started doing videos is the abject hate for Cardone remanufacturing. I don't even understand this. I mean, I can understand Fram because Fram puts out mainly a junk product, but Cardone is a supplier that pretty much remanufactures or makes new a lot of hard to find parts for our American cars. And honestly, their quality had been good up to, well, probably the last couple of years, but still, they were a mainstay. So please comment below on your feelings toward the company and why there's this abject hate toward their products. So to understand Cardone and what an absolute loss this is to the automotive world, we got to look at the history of this company. Before the James brothers destroyed it. Now, Cardone was founded in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 1970 by Michael Cardone Sr. Now, it was specializing in windshield wiper motor rebuilds. Go figure. Well, this actually makes sense. And I'll tell you in a minute why. In 1971, they added power steering and distributor products. That's easy for me to say. Through the 1970s and 1980s, the company grew its business to include brake boosters, power steering racks, engine electronics, brake calipers, water pumps, and a host of other needed replacement parts. As the cars got more complex, they actually found ways to rebuild those more complex parts. So basically, by 2015, Cardone had more than 40,000 parts available in its catalog, and they were covering 100 years of vehicles. So Michael Cardone Sr. never went to school for engineering or even business. See, he was born in coal country, and he was the son of a coal miner, but he did not want to go into that dangerous line of work. So instead, he went to Philadelphia at the age of 18, and it's about 1952, and then he found work as an auto mechanic. Now, this is where his curiosity and his mechanical mind really helped him a lot, because he ended up learning to rebuild wiper motors. Now, wiper motor technology was a very new thing at this time when he was working at that gas station in the late 50s, early 60s, because up until that point, American manufacturers were using, well, actually almost everybody was using vacuum to move the wiper blades back and forth, or some cars use hydraulics. Now, when he started Cardone Industries, it was at a time when rebuilding was done by a lot of local shops. And up until this time, there were no national companies that were doing this service. Partially due to the logistics, which until the mid-60s were not well set up for, coast-to-coast distribution. I mean, we had just got the highway system put in place in the 1950s, and air travel had just started the jet age. So things did not move very fast up until this time. The other part of it was that a lot of these companies didn't want to take the risk of mass producing rebuilt parts and then selling them to end users due to liability. Cardone Industries was family owned up until 2015. And the succession was Mike Sr. was the first president. Then his son, Michael Jr., who was a co-founder, became president. And then finally, Michael Jr.'s son, Michael Cardone III, became the last Cardone president of the company. This ended in 2015 when they appointed an outside CEO and president. But it was still a U.S.-based independent company based in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where they had a large corporate building and warehouse. It's a little foggy of what happened, but around 2017, 2018, it seems like they ran into some sort of financial issues because they went and recapitalized all their debt and bonds and whatnot. They were doing all their borrowing with Citizens Bank and Brookfield Asset Management, and they recapitalized. So now they had entered a financial agreement with those two financial institutions. Of course, this turned in 2019 when Brookfield Assets Management bought 85% of Cardone for $195 million, basically valuing this company at only $225 million, which seems pretty cheap. So at this point, Cardone was still known for relatively good products being sold under A1 for remanufactured and Cardone Select, which was a new parts division that they opened in 2005. Unfortunately, like most private equities, they were just looking to make a buck on Cardone and ended up selling the business to First Brands in June of 2023. Now, here's the weird thing, as a side note. Most of this information I'm giving to you about Cardone's history is on their website, and it has not been updated since 2015 or 2016. Now, you can go check for yourself. It's cardone.is, and IS stands for Iceland. So their website is branded with an Iceland domain. Don't ask, don't know. So in less than 3 years of owning Cardone Industries, First Brands destroyed the entire business. They completely ruined its reputation, and they cost about 6,000 employees of Cardone their jobs. This has basically removed a lot of hard-to-find parts, especially for American classics and inexpensive replacements for people's American daily drivers. So I've read your comments also saying that, China would just fill the gap, or someone's going to buy the plants and just start making the parts and doing the rebuilds. So this isn't very realistic in the short run, like of 2 years. Especially, the China part, where rebuilding or remanufacturing those parts, a lot of them complex, like anti-lock brake modulators, to ship them there, then you have to have the supply of the small parts that go into this unit. And it doesn't make any logistic sense to shipping back and forth. Because they also not only make the ABS stuff, but they also make rack and pinions, electric power steering, calipers, brake boosters, CV axles, the axle shafts, electronic throttle bodies, and even ECMs. So this it's not a very easy thing. And also, and the other part of people taking over the U.S. factories and the intellectual property isn't very clear cut, because right now there is a full federal investigation into the company and the James brothers, and there are multiple lawsuits against the James brothers and Cardone Industries at this time, making it almost toxic to buy any of those properties or those IPs until all these legal issues are cleared up. And I don't see that happening in the very near future. As I'm recording this on February 24th, a lot of parts are now low on stock, both online and at brick and mortar. So if you have a project you need to do and it's parts that this company makes, I mean, seriously, like a rack and pinion, brake booster, master cylinder, calipers, do not put it off. Like, buy the parts, even if you can't get to it this week or next, get these parts now, because the supply is dwindling really fast, faster than I thought it would, because they have basically closed all their plants at this point. Let me know in your comments below what you're thinking of this situation. If you have any other information about these products, anywhere else to get the stuff, just put it in the comments below. We're always kind of curious about, people know things, and I'd like to hear it. The other thing is, hey, if you like this, like it. If you like it a lot, then you subscribe. And if you want to help me a little bit, go and hit the hype thing, because that's a new thing YouTube's done to help people with smaller channels like myself. So once again, remember, if you have a cool car, something fun to drive, you take it out, because you're going to make someone's day, and it will probably be your own. And I'll catch you really soon.